No, this doesn't get the full intro. It doesn't deserve it.
Hello, and welcome to yet another episode of the Back to the TARDIS podcast, the podcast where we take a look at every single episode of the 2005 revival of BBC's Doctor Who. I'm Jeff.
I'm Aurora.
And I'm Avery, and I can't believe I fucking watched this episode.
And this week we are discussing Series 9, Episode 9, Sleep No More by Mark Gatiss. This is the worst fucking thing we've watched for this show. And we knew it was going to be this bad. And even then, I am astonished. Not only is it stupid, has a nonsensical plot, and basically no ending, it's fucking boring.
This episode, like the first, like, I'd say 15 minutes are exceedingly mid, which gives you hope. And, like, because you watch the first 15 minutes and it feels like a plot that has, like, direction, and there's, like, some interesting, if a little dopey elements running around. And it's not great, it's not visually interesting, none of the characters jump out at you. But
looks
it's watchable,
bad.
and it makes you think for a second, hey, maybe this episode isn't as bad as I remember. And that's how it gets you.
It's also, like, noticeably really bad looking, even for a season of Doctor Who that looks really good. Like, I'm like, wow, this looks like shit.
Yeah, this episode proves the age-old adage, Mark Gatiss would literally rather write Sleep No More than go to therapy. It's just, there's so many... This episode does everything wrong that it could with its premise. Yeah. I don't know, I'll just run off my problems, because this is going to be so short.
Yeah.
There's meaningless narration by a character that's not interesting and actively makes the plot worse. The episode is a corridor fest, even for Doctor Who. There are the episode cheats multiple times in what the quote unquote cameras actually are, and how the audience can be seeing them. And why does Clara have a camera, but it's not a camera?
The fact that she gets pulled into the machine entirely off screen is such an astonishing failure from a writing and direction standpoint. It makes no fucking sense.
I didn't even realize she got pulled in off screen because I was paying so little attention that I didn't notice.
Yeah, no, that happens completely.
I just assumed I had missed it.
The first guy, this is like the opposite of like good base Under Siege bullshit, because like none of the characters are memorable except maybe the grown slave, and the fact that they have a grown slave character.
By the way, that character is played by the first major and also, I think, possibly only still transgender actor to be cast in Doctor Who, and that's the character they cast her to play.
Huh.
Yeah, it's not great, and the fact that like the writing basically, it's like the most dismissive shit I've seen of problematic bullshit since like that Ansem Seeker of Darkness episode, where it's just like Martha's like, hey, I'm black, and the doctor's like, don't worry about it. And here Clara is like, wait, there's slaves, and 12 is just like, it's the 38th century, don't worry about it. And I'm sitting here going like, okay, so there's like no social commentary except like capitalism and humans bad, we need sleep. But that's like surface level at best. It's just, oh god, this episode hurts my brain to think about.
And there's it also is like, it never fucking, it like, it has like weird bit, and the whole bit with its setting is it just like there are points where the episode will just like vomit stuff about the setting of the episode for no reason, and it adds literally nothing.
Yeah, this
Oh
is
yeah,
such a
the fucking
weirdly elaborated setting, and none of it is relevant. Like,
the Great Catastrophe. Oh, what's that? Don't worry about it. It's all to come for you. Bitch, in the 38th century? When? Like, what?
Yeah.
it doesn't make any sense too. It's just like because they don't even do anything with it either. It's just like, oh yeah, Indo-Japan exists now, and that's why we have two scenes where we show weird decor on this space station, and nothing else is done with
Yeah.
that. Like it's like it's not even done for like an aesthetic thing because you see like one Japanese mask and like maybe one Indian design in the background at one point, and that's all that's done with it. And it's besides that, it's just like corridor fest, and it's just like, what the fuck is the point of any of this?
Yeah.
You know, and also everything. I don't know. Everything is like the Morpheus machine, which I had to keep myself from calling the Morbius machine, because
I'm beginning to morb. This truly is the Morbius of Doctor
It really
Who.
is.
It
It
is.
has the same shitty like blue-black coloring too.
oh my god, the light. Oh my god,
The lighting.
It's so
I
bad.
I don't
feel
know
like
if
it was
I don't know if that
trying-
was to like.
It feels like it was trying to be the what's the Mars one? The one with the Martian on the submarine? That episode.
Waters of Mars?
The Ice Warrior.
Ice Warrior, yeah. The one we said had really good
Yeah,
lighting.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's kind of going for a
Yeah.
similar thing, but they just
That was also
yeah,
a
they
Gatus.
don't. It's not utilized. He's trying to do that again, but he doesn't do it well this time.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, directors probably different. I would imagine. I think
Yeah.
it's a different director.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the only reason I can think of like why everything is like so monotone is because like the sand sleep dust monster bullshit things don't look great, but I would imagine they would look worse in any other lighting. So I can kind of buy it from that perspective, but just the whole conceit, it's like nothing's working in this episode, and every time it tries to be like cute or have any flavor, it just detracts from my enjoyment. It's like, I don't know, someone decided to start like scratching their nails on a chalkboard with like a glove on, and then they take the glove off to add flavor. It's like not appealing at all. Like the fucking Sandman song, and for some
Yeah.
reason the computer is very creepy in that one instance where it needs to be to like fulfill horror tropes of just like sing the song, and then that never comes back again. So it's like, what the fuck are we doing here?
That's such a weird scene. It goes on for so long too. Like it's like a full minute of just like sing the song, and he's just like, no, I can't do it, no. It's just so bizarre.
It's so fucking stupid.
It's so bizarre.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, I think you were saying, Jeff, in the back rooms that this is Doctor Who's first Chibnall Core episode.
Yeah, no, it feels like it has the same issues as like a lot of Chibnall stuff of like boring set dressing exposition that doesn't add anything, bad characters, nonsensical plot, really dumb science, and like the Doctor and the companion like not really doing anything meaningful.
Yeah, and again, it's a shame because like also like a lot of Chibnall Core episodes, not all of them, but there's like you could see where something could actually be done here. Like the idea of like a quote unquote like Doctor Light, or like an episode that's Doctor Who, but the focus isn't on like the Doctor and the companion are like ancillary. Like that's cool, but then they don't do anything with it. especially at the way it ends. I forgot how this ends, and when it did, I was like, "Wait, what? That's it?"
Yeah.
Because like the whole like the guy like wipes away his eyes, and then he starts speaking in a computer digitized like, "There is nothing left of this character." And he sounds like an Elcor from Mass Effect, if anybody's
Yeah.
played that game. Um,
Yeah.
but it's goofy, and then the episode just ends. I swear, like I would have at least thought it charming if the guy's like explaining his evil plan. Which, by the way, why would he? He's like explaining his evil plan. He's like, "I'm gonna send this, video to everybody, and we will spread the sleep bullshit." And then after all that, it turns off, and the doctor's like, "Yeah, like I'd let that happen." He like intercepts the signal and then deletes it. Like that would have at least been funny, but the episode can't even do that.
I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm still so like. I think I missed this watch, but if I remember correctly from previous watches, the like explanation for the cameras is that it's actually the dust and they can see through it or something, right?
Yes.
I don't even know, man.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
That's
I missed that on this
yes.
watch, but I remembered that from previous watches, and I was just like, okay, because they do it so haphazardly. Like they just have a throwaway line about like, oh yeah, there's no helmet cams, which I guess is supposed to like tip you off that there's something suspicious happening. But I don't know why the logical point from there is we're looking through the dust. And I don't know. I don't understand why that twist happens. Like, why couldn't they just have had helmet cams? What is added by the fact that they're seeing through the fucking dust?
Because they're making The Ring. It's just like The Ring, found footage, Blair
No,
Witch.
I understand. I understand that it's meant to be found footage. I don't understand why they couldn't just say they had cameras and it had to be the dust that they were saying through instead. It's just such a nonsensical decision.
Yeah.
I do like that there was sort of a 2010s-ish resurgence of found footage thanks to like Max Landis's arguable only like good written film. If you don't know who Max Landis is, he's a garbage screenwriter person, and his dad is even worse. It's basic Hollywood nepotism. But because of his film that was like found footage, a bunch of copycats sprung up, and I think unfortunately this is one of the casualties of that bullshit trend. But by the way, same guy, Max Landis, who started off this trend again, wrote the screenplay for Netflix's Bright. So yeah. So there's a great company this episode finds
itself in. Is that the
itself
guy who
in,
said Bright was gonna be his Star Wars?
Yes. So, all.
What if, and stick with me, guys, orcs were black people?
So true. Yeah, I don't know. This it feels like we've said this about other episodes, but I truly feel like no other episode encapsulates nothing and everything happens as much as this one does. Because like we've been doing this since like we started all the way back at the start of the revival, baby. We've been doing this for so long, and the fact that this episode manages to puzzle us at this point, that's a problem.
Like, there's a lot of episodes where, you know, I sort of start to lose my attention in the back half because it's not that interesting. But like, usually I remember the like outline of the plot. I genuinely do not remember like a full 10-minute stretch of this episode. Like I remember like the first 15 minutes, which is just 15 minutes of running around a bit, and then I vaguely remember the stuff near the end once it's revealed that the guy is like working for the sand monsters or whatever, or he's like possessed by them or some shit. And there's just like a 10 to 15 minute blank in the middle where I remember nothing. I don't know what happens in there. As far as I know, they literally just run around the station that entire time doing nothing.
Yeah, they basically run around screaming for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's
it.
There's
it's nothing.
There's never a moment where I care about any side character. And that's impressive. Again, very, very, very Chibnall core.
I will give the credit that I like care the slightest, most minuscule fucking amount about the guy who like hated the Morpheus machine, because like you tell him, bro, you
Yeah.
tell him that it's infringing on your sleep. And then isn't he the one who dies when the like thing won't open because he won't
Yeah,
sing?
the one. I think he's like the.
No,
first
that's
one
another
to die.
guy.
That's another
That's how
guy?
forgettable
Oh.
he is. Yes, that's
Jesus
another guy.
Christ.
Yeah. I'm surprised I remembered that.
Did-
Because he's the first guy to get lost, and then the grunt, the guy who doesn't like the Morpheus machine, and the commander woman
Every
are
fucking
all that's
time
left.
peop-
Yeah.
Every fucking time people said Morpheus in this episode, the only thing I could think about was the fucking Hannibal Buress Morpheus rap.
As you should.
That's it. Every time.
I have to wonder when, in the construction of this episode, because right off the bat, like, you can do narration well, but this is like 101, don't use narration for this, because it's literally like, I'm going to introduce this rescue team and, you know, give some flavor text about like, oh, you know, this is Commander such and such, young for her age, trial by fire sort of thing. And I'm just like, what the fuck is this?
There's so many
Yeah.
parts. There's like a couple parts too where it like cuts away and there's like a scene. He just like describes what happens, and it's like a scene that would have taken like 5 seconds, and I'm just like, what's the point
Yeah.
of this?
And at the end, he's literally like, yeah, I've constructed this story. I hope it's made sense. I hope there were like good scares, good and evil. And I'm just like, you're just literally fucking telling us you don't have confidence in this.
Yeah.
Like I'm losing my mind here. It's
The other thing too is that the only fucking like good it sucks too. The only the only remotely good looking effect in this entire episode is his head disintegrating. And that's probably because they slapped a bunch of filters over it so you can't tell.
yeah, another way in which the episode cheats, because if these aren't cameras, why do they fucking look like cameras? Anyways,
Yeah.
yeah, it's sad that Spider-Man 3 in what, 2010? I forget when Spider-Man 3 comes out.
Like 7.
Okay, yeah, it does. Anyways, I know it's a movie budget, but like better sound effects than it was like. I don't know.
In conclusion,
Yeah. Well, I'm done. I'm
conclusion-
spent.
yeah. In conclusion, I'd like to take a moment to comment that we were all spared because Mark Gatiss said, yeah, I was going to write a follow-up to this episode in Series 10, but I ended up writing Empress of Mars instead because it was going to be my last series and Moffat's last series, and that was the episode I always wanted to write. So somehow, through the grace of God, we were saved from another one of these.
We got Oxygen, which is basically this, but like better in
Good.
every way.
Ay, yay. All right, yeah. Yeah, 18 and a half minutes? Yeah, sure, fuck this episode. Okay, moving on to ratings. This episode sucks shit. It fails in pretty much every way. Even Peter Capaldi and Clara Oswald... Peter Capaldi and Jenna Coleman can't really do anything to this episode quality-wise because it feels like they're barely even there. This is the worst thing we've watched for this fucking show, and it will probably be the only thing to get an F unless we, like, review Timeless Child. That's about it.
Yeah. This episode has nothing to say. It is very surface level. It's the most obvious. Everything is obvious that shouldn't be, and everything that should be simple isn't. I feel bad for the side characters, because I can tell some of them I think are trying. I especially feel bad for the trans actor, because until this most recent special, he's been the only trans representation, I think, from memory, that Doctor Who has had in at least the revival. So that sucks. Boring corridor fest. Very terrible direction. Peter Capaldi tries, Jenna Coleman tries, but when you're like relegated to like basically a C or B character status in an episode that has nothing else going for it, it's bad.
It's so, like, when you think about it, it's so weird because if the Doctor and Clara feel like they're nothing and barely there, and fucking the other side characters that they introduce feel like nothing, who the fuck is... this episode has no characters.
Yeah, it basically has. I don't know. This is when if you're trying to build a clay statue, this is the block of clay, and you did nothing with it except like draw a smiley face on it and say you're done. I don't know. It's bizarre. Again, I'll wrap this up because we've already given this episode way too much thought. The villain, I would probably say, is easily Doctor Who's worst revival villain by a mile. And yes, I include Tech Taeun. In Chibnall era, I would say is better than this because at least I can understand her motivations, as surface level and dumb as they are. This guy actively contradicts his own motivations, so we have no fucking idea. This is an easy 0. Yeah.
Oh, is it my turn?
Yes.
Yeah.
This episode really morbed on me. I gotta say this is a real Morbius out of 10.
Dr. Rasmussen's sweep. Okay. Fucking yada yada. Follow the podcast on Twitter at B2TARDISPod. Support us on Patreon for a bunch of fucking benefits. Such and such. Next week we get to actually talk about good episodes. Until then, I'm Jeff. You can follow me on Twitter at WheatleyDL. Fuck this episode.
I am Aurora, and I'm also exhausted. Yeah, you can follow us on the Twitter machine, at Of Mice and Femmes, for all of your mediocre yet better than Sleep No More shit posting needs.
I'm Avery. You can find me at agpenis at twitter.com. I'm fucking Morbin.
And we will see you all next week.